so important. My goal would be to see FSHD become a household word, or at least as well known as other diseases that are not even as prevalent. Diseases like cystic fibrosis, ALS. People have heard of it. Nobody's heard of FSHD. So, and it's something that every one of you can do a great deal to change. So I wanted to first tell you a little bit about this FSHD Selfies campaign that you've all been hearing about. It's our first national campaign just over social media, just to get that, FSHD out there, just to get people saying, what is this? And to hopefully learn a little more about it. So what you see here on the screen that's the campaign logo and a few selfie photos that people have taken and shared over social media during the course of this campaign. So the campaign was launched just about a month ago, and we're running it until we reach 5,000 selfies. Now, depending on your frame of reference, that may or may not be a big number, but I can tell you this is orders of magnitude more presence for FSHD on social media than has ever happened before in history. So we got to start somewhere. So that's, and the idea was to raise awareness. The idea of the selfie came about because of the facial involvement of FSHD, and many patients can't smile. So the idea is show your face. This is the face of FSHD, and ask your friends to smile on behalf of those who can't. And just simply take that photo with your smartphone, or have someone help you take that photo, tag it with a hashtag FSHD Selfies, and share it over with whatever social media channel you use. That could be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Those are the three that we are monitoring and counting. One thing we've learned we had to remind people is a lot of people on Facebook limit who can see their posts. So, and you can control that. And for these FSHD selfies to be counted on Facebook, you need to make it a public post. Otherwise, the tools that we use to count can't see them. So we know that we've probably surpassed 5,000 selfies on Facebook alone, but a lot of those can't be counted right now. So just remember, if you're going to do this, make that a public post. And I have a flyer outside that explains more about how to do this, and also some sample tweets that you could send along to just raise awareness about FSHD. And I also had a patient who's been very active in this campaign. She made these earrings, the little clothespins, where you can hang a little tag with the campaign logo. So I put them out there, and I'm glad to see they're all gone, and I hope everybody who took one of those will take a selfie and post it with them wearing that earring. And we had a donor who agreed to, who's pledged $1 for every selfie shared. So please do it from this meeting would be really cool, because that would also raise awareness about the fact that this meeting has happened. And every time you do that, we're raising $1 for the FSH Society. So the campaign took off tremendously. The first week, over 1,500 FSHD selfies were shared. They're really fun stories. There was a patient whose son was in a metal rock band in Texas, and he asked his band's fans to post, and all of a sudden we had like hundreds and hundreds of metal rock fans with very interesting tattoos and piercings, all posting their selfies for FSHD. And we even got some attention. There was a patient who was so inspired by this, actually Kristen Duquette, who wrote a HuffPost piece about the power of a selfie. And Max Adler, the actor who first became kind of nationally known through his role on Glee, and he's now on a show, ABC family show called Switched at Birth. He wrote a story because his mother and grandmother were affected, and he wrote a HuffPost piece about it. We've had some other media pick up on it, and we hope to continue that over the next few weeks as the campaign reaches, I hope, its successful conclusion. So we have just under 3,000 selfies to date, and we have 2,000 to go, and you can all help by just posting that selfie, and you have to make the ask. Ask your friends to do the same. And you can post multiple every day that we have a challenge. Post one a day, and just keep asking. So other ways to raise awareness, it can start with just inviting some friends over or taking them out for a drink and saying, I want to tell you about FSHD and, that I have it or someone I love has it, and just tell them why it's important for them to be aware that it exists. And that might grow into a fundraiser. Your friends, you never know until you come out and tell them that very often, if they're your friends, they want to help. And they might say, let's do something. Let's do a walk. Let's do a picnic, do some sort of event. And fundraisers are important not just for the funds they raise, but they're really important because they raise visibility. It gives you an event that then you can talk about and start telling people you know and people you don't know that you are doing this event to support this cause. We also have public service announcements, these videos featuring the Broadway actress Kelly O'Hara and Max Adler. They're 30 and 60-second versions. They've been distributed to TV and cable stations around the country, and they're available in a broadcast format, downloadable on the web. So that's just the first step. We put it out there, but the second step, which is the challenging part, is to actually get them on the air. And we have some stations that, they're very high-quality videos, and they're nice. Kelly O'Hara's singing, and, Max Adler. So for random reasons, we'll find a station. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for some reason, loves this PSA, and they've shown it thousands of times and so on. But what really helps is if you contact your local station and tell them that this PSA matters to you. Just write to their PSA director or their programming director, email them, call them, and just ask them to show this PSA. That makes a difference. They need to hear from their constituents, their viewers, that this matters to them. And so we have a kit also out on the table. It's called our PSA, or Celebrity PSA Kit. It tells you how to do this. We have templates for letters to write to the program director, what to tell them, how to respond when they say, well, we have too many, etc. Gives the web link. So if I would love as many people as possible to help with that. It doesn't take that much time, but it takes we need you who are where you are in different parts of the country to just make your voices heard locally. That's so and if we run out of kits, we have them available electronically. Just write to me. You can write an op-ed for your local newspaper. Right now we have a good news hook for that because we are hoping the MD Care Act will pass soon, and maybe you just write an op-ed saying, hooray, or thank your congressional representative who supported it. You can also raise awareness amongst the people who provide health care. So we hear we've just heard in the session just before this how many healthcare providers don't know about FSH. Well, you are the primary you're the front ranks of education for those people. Give our materials to your doctor, your physical therapist, to schools. That's why we produce them. Write to us, ask for a dozen copies so you have plenty of supplies, and just give them out to anyone you feel could use that material. And then right now, I think many of you have heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge. I have major Ice Bucket Challenge envy because that was just a brilliant kind of grassroots thing that just went viral. We'd love your ideas about what is our Ice Bucket Challenge going to be. So think about that. And yes, that is, I think, Matt Lauer getting ice dumped on him. And, okay, do I back up? How do I back up? Anyway, we'll leave with that. And now I'd like to introduce Fred Tice. He's been a great advocate and friend for the FSH Society. He is with WBUR, our beloved NPR station here in Boston, and he will facilitate a conversation with you about your ideas of how we can raise awareness. So, Fred, and there are microphones around the room if you'd like to speak.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Fred Tice. I live here in Massachusetts, in Weymouth. And my grandmother had FSHD, and my mom had it, and my brother has it. And that's what ultimately connected me to the FSH Society. So we'd love to get your ideas on how we can raise awareness. And if anybody has any thoughts, please raise your hand, or have somebody at your table raise your hand if you can't raise their hand. If you can't raise your hand yourself, there's someone right there. Beth.
No, she's taking a selfie.
Oh, okay. You're taking a selfie. Okay. All
right. I'm in a county of 200,000 people. I have zero support from the healthcare system. So raising awareness, and this means getting the word out. There was a publication on anesthesiology or something from the FSH Society. I got 10 copies to a dozen copies, and I sent them out to all the anesthesiologists. Every other doctor I get into, I give them a little pitch. Hey, see this angel wing? If you ever see that, it's FSH. I don't know another FSH person in my entire county out of 200,000. The neurological people know nothing about it. So it's just getting the message to every healthcare provider that I know is one of my challenges.
Where's Amy Beckier? She had an idea.
Yeah, Amy's right over there.
You need to tell your idea about how you're the go-to person for all your physicians, and right?
Hi. We're here. We know what we want to do, but there are many FSHs out there that feel very, very alone. They haven't found us. They haven't found support groups. Their families may not know or want to deal with it. I challenge everyone, because the first line of diagnosis is usually the neurologist. I went to my neurologist in my area, who I work with, and I said to him, I would like to be your FSH patient liaison. For all of the people, and now many people are in denial, they don't want to know anyone else, but that's fine. And he cannot give me their names, that's privacy. But he can certainly give them my name. And if they wish to contact me, then we meet. Not only do we then create friends, we also are growing for the FSH Society, and we are letting them know that we're out there for them. And every single one of us can do this. So it's one way to grow the society, get the FSH people involved, and let them know they're not alone.
There's somebody over here on the right side of the room.
I think that's an absolutely brilliant idea. And I think it's possible to take it a step further. My husband, too, has had the experience of the previous gentleman who said he's never even met a doctor who knows what the heck it is, much less someone else with it, until we came to the first of these that we attended maybe 5 years ago. Doug didn't know other people with FSH. And I think one of the things that I'm sure many people have experience with is not only finding that your friends and neighbors don't know what it is, but even physicians have no personal experience ever with it. So that not only can you say to your physician, I'm willing to be a contact person for others with FSH that you may encounter, but you can say to your physician, I'm willing to give you articles about this. I mean, I think it's very easy when you don't have people who are obviously educated about it. It's very easy to sort of take a Lone Ranger approach and say, I just won't go to the doctor because they know nothing. But if you say, I'll go to a doctor, and every time I go to a doctor, I'll take them a copy of a paper, or I'll provide them links to papers. And I will suggest that they share this information with other people that they know professionally, their colleagues. because I think that it's easy to be dismissive of people who don't know, but it is, as she said, and as the gentleman before said, it is on us to try to offer information where there is none.